Welcome to one more episode of the Nomad Kitchen. Today, we are going to a recipe that is a faux ami, or a fake friend, or something that we call something that is not from when we think that is from. And this is French toast. But before going to that recipe, remember to subscribe, to share, and to interact with this post, to tell me what would you like to see in the channel, and what recipes would you like to explore about. Nomad Kitchen is all about learning where the ingredients come from, but also what's the origin of that recipe that we all love and that we can use to travel and to share with our friends and family. Let's go to the recipe of the French toast. So for this recipe, we are going to use eggs, milk, cinnamon, bread, and love. That's basically what we are going to use. The eggs were actually originated, or the farming of the birds for consumption were first time originated in the ancient Egypt 900 years before Christ. And it's very interesting because the eggs were used for food and also for the warriors in the ancient Egypt. So we are going to just crush the eggs and to use it. Then after that, what we are going to use is almond milk. Well, almond has a very interesting origin because it's from Asia, specifically from Central Asia. Countries like Kazakhstan and all this area were the first places where almond was found in history. Then we will use, in this case, brown bread that is made from wheat. And wheat was started in the Mesopotamian Empire, the first place where actually the cities were born. As you know, all the areas of the Euphrates and the Tigris was the first region in which human beings were managed to domesticate food and also to create communities in which people now can live and interact and so on. And we finalize adding some toppings that are very interesting. The first topping that we are going to add is cinnamon. Cinnamon is originated in Ceylon. If you don't know what Ceylon is the current Sri Lanka. That is a country in Asia that is super beautiful, tropical, and amazing and exuberant. Then after that, we're going to use, of course, to top it raspberries, blueberries, but you can use another fruits. In this case, these fruits, as you know, come from Central Asia or from that part of Europe that we call Turkey. And in the case of the raspberries, from the US. First, we break the eggs, we open them, and we mix it. In my case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix 2 eggs with more or less half a cup of almond milk. The reason why I use almond milk is because apart from the fact that it's healthier, it also helps to give a more vibrant flavor to the whole recipe. One thing that I haven't mentioned is that I'm also going to use honey. You don't need to mandatory use a sweetener for the French toast, but in my case I use honey that, as you know, is from the tropical areas of Africa, specifically from East Africa, from Kenya, and that gives also an interesting and nice texture to the whole recipe. So after putting the eggs, what I'm going to do is to pour the milk. As you know, this is more or less a cup, so I'm going to use half this for the recipe of today. Then the honey. You can use honey to taste, or you can, for example, decide not to sweeten your French toast. Some people prefer it savory and so on, because also French toasts are used for another preparations, or to put toppings such vegetables and other things, aside from the ones that we know that are super sweet and with fruits and so on. Now after that, we shake. We shake it, 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 shake it. And this is the mix that we are going to use for the bread. Now, before putting the bread and everything inside, remember to find a pan like this and to put some butter there. If you are wondering where the butter is from, imagine it's from Africa. And this is so nice because, again, in Africa was the first place where many of the foods that we know were domesticated and were actually integrated to the diets of people because they needed to actually create things. So for example, the butter, that is basically white milk, what they used to do is they needed to extract the fat of the milk that was coming from the cows, and they did it thanks to the use of course, milk and salt, and this is how the butter was invented. So what we are going to do is we are going to pour the mix of the eggs, the honey, and the almond milk, or the milk, whatever you prefer, on a plate like this. And this is where we are going to basically put the bread to make it a toast. Interesting enough, French toasts are not from France. What? Yes, French toasts are not from France. History says that was used the first time by the Romans in more or less the 5th century. And it was called pan dulcis. But then the first time that was called French toast was in England in the 19th century. So imagine how many centuries had to pass like for that to be called a French toast, but the origin is not actually French. This is very interesting because in history we wonder why then it's called French toast, because when French people love sweet things, and French toast is one of the best things in the world to eat. We flip them, bam! It looks delicious, brownish, goldish, delicious-ish. Interesting way of adding cinnamon to this is just doing something like this. So this is like just to add some texture to the plate. And then after this, what you will do, after that, we take our blackberries or our blueberries and the raspberries and we put them wherever we. Finally, if you want to put like some more maybe sweet or something like that like to the toast, what you can do is to add extra honey on top of the mix. And voila. This, my friends, is French toast.